Naoya Inoue didn't simply stun America by being loud. He stunned America by making elite fighters seem unready completely.
All I need Inoue to do is, I need him to come fight in the U.S., random blood and urine testing. He take a lot of my stuff from my playbook.
And he made him look ordinary. I've never seen Fulton so tentative, and it was by a smaller guy.
When Naoya Inoue stepped into the American spotlight, fans were expecting resistance, smart adjustments, and a long tactical battle. Instead, they witnessed a fighter who erased those possibilities almost instantly. That sharp contrast between what people expected and what actually happened is what created the fear around him. By the time this video ends, you'll understand why Inoue's knockouts aren't just heavy, they're calculated, and why every American champion studying him now is trying to solve a puzzle no one has cracked yet. When Inoue faced Nonito Donaire for the first time, many American fans believed the experienced veteran would expose weaknesses in the younger champion.
It comes down to a lot of things, you know. I think the best guy that I faced, and maybe perhaps if I was younger, it might be a different story, but at the moment of who I am in this time, I would say Inoue is the toughest that I've faced, or the strongest that I've faced.
Inoue is probably or potentially the best fighter that you've faced in your career. What is it about him that gives you that?
I think it was like facing the younger me. You know, there's just a lot of similarities in terms of power, explosiveness, and sometimes intelligence. You know, but I think a lot of it is given the similarities is what makes it more difficult.
Instead, Inoue dictated the early tempo with a precision that never felt rushed. He wasn't hunting for damage, he was studying reactions. Even after suffering a fractured orbital bone during the fight, he never abandoned his structure. He adjusted his distance, shortened his combinations, and made sharper reads. The victory wasn't dramatic, it was composed under adversity. That was the first clear sign he was different.
That's a bad guy he beat too. Broke him down. Ooh.
118?
Yeah,
who the hell fights in that division?
Bantamweights.
Yeah, but who?
Some bad yeah, some killers.
The rematch shifted everything in a defining way. Naoya Inoue didn't enter with emotion, he entered with precision. From the opening bell, he stepped into range with total authority and broke down Nonito Donaire within 2 rounds. The American audience didn't respond with outrage, they responded with silence, because the performance didn't feel competitive. It felt inevitable.
Oh yeah, if he's thinking to moving up in the weight division, I hope that I can teach him and supervise his workout and training.
また新たなステージで挑戦していきたいと思います。
My aim is to be an undisputed champion. If I can do that within a year of 2022, I would love to stay in this division. But if I can't, I am capable of raising my division and to fight again for the upper division.
Then came Stephen Fulton. Fulton was highly respected in the United States, intelligent, defensive, and tactically sharp. The narrative heading into that fight was that Inoue would finally face someone capable of matching his ring IQ.
Someone who could match his ring.
Fight. I think Fulton has more skills, but Monster got monster power. So you know, it's just he got that neutralizer. I think it's a good fight. I'm definitely going for Scooter. It's my Muslim brother. I've been knowing Scooter since we were kids.
Oh man, I'm leaning towards Folk. I hope he bring it back to the United States. I hope he go out there and do good, and I wish him well.
Have you got it in that fight? Do you think you could finish him, or do you think it'd be like a competitive decision and he gets the W on the scorecards?
Well, I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough fight for both fellas, and the better man is going to win that day. I think Stephen Fulton is the bigger, stronger guy. That not only bigger and stronger, but he has skills too. You know, it's one thing a lot of people say, "Oh, well, this guy is big, this guy is strong," but skills pay the bills, and Floyd proven that.
Instead, Inoue dismantled him methodically, round by round. His jab controlled the space, his footwork created angles, and his body shots slowed every movement. By the time the fight ended, Fulton wasn't making errors, he was responding to pressure he couldn't overcome. That knockout wasn't sudden chaos, it was a gradual, inevitable collapse.
I know I've been asked this a million times, but what made Inoue so difficult to figure out that night? Or?
It wasn't what made him difficult. It's that my body wouldn't allow me to do the things like
Wake
come
up.
back. Yeah, it wouldn't allow me to do the things. rehydrate and everything. It wouldn't allow me to do things that I wanted to do. But, you know, we'll see him when we get another belt and probably at a different weight class.
Okay. As I said, I picked Inoue to win, but I thought it would be a much more closely contested fight than it was. And listen, I'm not dissing Fulton. He was just blown away by a person whom I now consider. I was wavering a little bit, you know, but I now consider after having watched that in its entirety, you're looking at a generational talent.
Yeah.
And Fulton is still a good fighter. I don't want people to start shredding him and throwing him under the bus. No, he's still a good champion. Well, ex-champion now. He's still a very good fighter who can come again. It's just that yesterday, man, he was in the presence of greatness, in my view.
I'm proud of the fact that I put Inoue on my pound-for-pound list, I don't know, 3 years ago. Whatever it was. I don't even know how long.
That's true.
And no one...
You've been on him before I even knew who he was.
Ken, no one had him anywhere near it. They basically barely knew who he was, as you just touched on. And obviously he dominated Fulton, or at least put it this way. He established control right from the start. He made Fulton's a defensive fighter, a good counterpuncher. He made him concentrate more on defense and surviving than Fulton really wanted to early. He set the course of the fight.
And that's the pattern against Marlon Tapales for undisputed status. The early rounds were patient. Inoue didn't force exchanges. He measured, worked the body, and tested the guard. Then the tempo shifted. The moment Tapales slowed even slightly, Inoue accelerated with combinations timed to perfection. The finish didn't feel shocking. It felt like the final step of a plan that had already been unfolding. This is where the fear becomes clear. Inoue doesn't overwhelm opponents, he removes their options. By the middle of most of his fights, opponents aren't executing strategies anymore, they're merely surviving exchanges. Once that shift occurs, the fight is effectively decided. But here's where the story deepens. Dominance at lighter weights is often undervalued by American audiences. Power is expected to diminish as fighters move up, speed is expected to normalize. Yet Inoue maintained both, and that is what forced American analysts to see him not as a niche champion, but as a...
He got the whole package, I believe so. If you want to say a fighter that got the whole package, he's one of them. Definitely, for sure. I don't really see myself really, like, fighting him. Like, that would be a reach.
Do you have a favorite fighter now that's active?
Asian, like Inoue.
Inoue, amazing fight.
Yeah. He's a good fighter. And I hope that he will accomplish in different weight division also.
I definitely got that one wrong. And Inoue, we know he's a quality fighter, but I have to give him props. You know, great performance and...
To understand why Naoya Inoue unsettled American boxing, you have to see how he constructs his finishes. Most knockout artists depend on sheer aggression, Inoue depends on sequence. Watch closely, and it becomes clear. The early rounds are data collection. He studies reactions to his jab, notes how opponents retreat, and tracks which direction they pivot under pressure. By the fourth or fifth round, he's no longer guessing, he's executing. When Ramon Conan dropped him early in a recent fight, critics briefly saw vulnerability. Momentum seemed to teeter. Instead, Inoue reset instantly, reduced unnecessary exchanges, re-established distance, and increased body attacks. The finish in the 8th round wasn't emotional revenge, it was systematic correction. That's the line between dangerous and disciplined. Inoue's bodywork is often overlooked because the knockouts steal the spotlight. Yet the body shots are the real framework. They lower hands, stiffen movement, and slow reactions just enough for the final combination to land clean. American fighters studying him now aren't just analyzing power, they're studying patience. That's where the tension of his story lies. Every dominant fighter eventually meets someone who disrupts rhythm, refuses to give clean reads, or forces improvisation. Inoue, however, has not yet been put into sustained chaos. That is why audiences keep watching, not because they expect him to lose, but because they are waiting to see if anyone can interrupt the sequence.
You agree with this? Is it smart? This guy is selling out massive arenas, massive stadiums in Japan. Does he need to come to the States, in your opinion, to level up? Or is he one of those rare cases who should just stay at home because he's such a big draw there?
No, boxing's a worldwide sport. I mean, if you can fill out stadiums or arenas like Inoue does consistently all the time, why do you need to go to America? Now, look, I understand the want to go to America if there was a big American fighter to fight. then it kind of makes sense, right? Let's get him in, I don't know, Vegas, or as you mentioned, Madison Square Garden against an American. But there is no big American to fight. I mean, the big names really are in Asia. Nakatani is one of them. There's been a lot of talk about a guy called Nick Ball. I'm going to say a guy, you know who Nick Ball is, featherweight champion. There's been some talk of that. That's not going to happen in America. So this want to get him to America all of a sudden to appease the American fight fans, I don't quite get. This guy does incredible numbers in Asia.
And still's fast as lightning.
Yeah, the power that he possesses, but it's not a thumping power. It's that explosive speed, that explosive power, the footwork he gets in position. And all of a sudden he's landed 3, 4, 5 shots and then he's angled off. A lot like I did in my fight against Lopez.
You know, I have very fast. Yeah, it's a compensation. Like, it's a very strong guy.
Brings out a big crowd, doesn't he? He's an absolute superstar in world boxing. And this was another exquisite performance.
He doesn't rely on drama. He doesn't seek controversy. His fights finish cleanly. That clarity unsettles divisions because it leaves no room for debate or excuses. So when people say Naoya Inoue shocked America, they don't mean he publicly embarrassed opponents, they mean he eliminated all excuses. And in boxing, that may be the most intimidating power of all.